Nice in here? Yeah? Good. Here's a key. Whatever inspires also guides and protects. So, when the thought comes in, know that you have the guidance and the protection to persevere. Isn't that kind of cool? What a way to start today. In addition to, let's stand and sing in the silence.
In the silence, there is a sacred place, a secret meeting place. In the silence, where every and
In the silence, we acknowledge the loving presence of our Father, Mother, God. In the stillness, we choose to be open and receptive and responsive. In the moment, we are grateful for the opportunity to come together, to worship, to sing, and to pray in the name, in the nature, and in the power of the Christ. Amen.
Today's word is turning point, and Sally will read the daily word.
Good morning. Turning point. Today is my turning point, and now is my moment. Every moment brings an opportunity to experience life anew. Every day carries the potential for transformation and growth, for adopting a fresh perspective, making a different choice, or taking a new path. I choose to make today a turning point day. Whether the changes I make are large or small, each one propels my growth. I discover more I discover more about myself, how Spirit works in and through me, and how to express my divine nature in meaningful ways. As I connect with Spirit within, I know I am supported in every way. I step out in faith to experience life more fully. I'm confident and excited as I venture into new territory and embrace this turning point in my life. For everything, there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. That's Ecclesiastes 3:1.
All kinds of great stuff happening all around us on a regular basis. And part of the reason that things keep showing up in our life is because we take time to acknowledge who we are. Let's take our affirmation together. I am a child of the living God. I have within me the all-creating power of the Christ. It radiates from me and blesses all whom I contact. I am now in the presence of pure being and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. Let's work with Bridget and we do some centering music.
I've got a river deep in my soul, I've got a river deep in my soul. I've got a river deep in my soul, and I follow. I'm gonna follow that mighty river home, home to my soul.
We breathe. We hold to the truth of who we are. And as we have stilled our bodies, now we quiet our mind. Gently, easily, and effortlessly, we move to that place in consciousness that Jesus called our inner closet. It is our secret place. Here, in this moment, we listen. In our prayers, we ask. Here in the stillness, in the silence, answers come. This day, all my needs are met. This day. This day I choose to reach out and say yes. To say thank you. And allow these gifts to move in and through me this day. I am a channel through which good flows into my world this day. Knowing there is no lack or limitation, I open myself to be that conduit. That flow of good that has come to me, I freely send on its way. Into this place, touching each and every one of God's children. I am blessed. These thoughts of like mind move together, build in strength and power, flow from this place into our community, touching each and every one of God's children. I am blessed. I choose to be a blessing. This flow continues. I am aware of it. I feel it. Touching each and every one of God's children throughout our state, across our country. Around our world. Here in the stillness, we know, regardless of appearance, I am there. Love is there. Peace is there. here in the stillness and the silence, affirming our oneness, we know that we are never separate one from the other. We know that somewhere, someone is saying, thank you, thank you, thank you for the gifts that you have sent this day are gratefully received. I am blessed. You are a blessing, and the flow moves from them back to you. The circle of life is complete. Knowing this truth, I breathe and rest for one holy moment. Knowing there is more yet for me to do this day, holding to this experience we have shared gently, easily I bring my attention back to this now, to this place, to this when. And I join with you and pray as Jesus, our elder brother, has taught us when he said, as for you, pray therefore in this manner. One of the things that we've done a lot of is, as you heard earlier, is let your light shine. And one of the ways you let your light shine is you let the world know who you are and know what you're about. And Bridget has done that, and I want to share with you some numbers. In the last few months, somewhere between 3,600 visitors, or hits rather, a day on Bridget's website. These are people coming from around the world, literally, that are saying, I want to see a little bit more, I want to hear a little bit more. And I'm going to show you the pie chart. It won't make a whole lot of sense from that far away, but just kind of let you know that 27 of these came from China, which I thought was fascinating. 33 from here in the country and the rest from around the world. We literally, when we reach out and say who we are, we literally reach out and touch the world. We see these kinds of numbers for ourselves as well, in the sense that the number of people who from around the world join us in prayer, who are with us right this moment, literally in all corners of the earth. And then God made the earth round and laughed and laughed and laughed. But that's another story. Let's welcome Bridget Wolf.
This song was a semi-finalist, placing in the top 23% of 6,000 songs from around the world. Let's make the difference. I choose to be the change I wish to see in the world today. I unite with all loving hearts, and I share all the gifts I've been given, and I live my life fully now, 'cause all life matters, yes it does. Every creature on this earth, every wild wind that blows, and our lives matter. This I know, and each of us is here to be the difference. Each of us is here to be the difference. Overcoming painful addictions, changing over to sustainable ways, feeling in our hearts a new direction. Did I hear turning point? Finding strength within. Let's make the difference with every thought we think. Let's make the difference with every word we speak. Let's be the difference with every action we take. Let's be the difference by putting our hearts and souls into it. Let's make the difference with every thought we think. Let's be the difference with every word we speak. Let's be the difference with every action we take. Let's be the difference by putting our hearts and our souls deeply into every part of this life. 'Cause all life matters, yes it does. Every creature on this earth, every wild wind and free spirit and wolf and brother, sister that I love so much, every wild wind that blows, and our lives matter. Our lives matter. This I know. And each of us is here to be the difference. Yes, each of us is here to be the difference. So let's all find a way, dig deep, ladies and gentlemen, sisters and brothers, to be the difference. Yeah. Thank you.
If I had any more fun, I wouldn't know how to behave at all. And there are those who suggest I don't know how to behave now, which gives you a clue. And it's okay. Letting Spirit work through you is just so much fun. It's just super. And the more you open up and allow that to occur, the more these kinds of things happen, which leads us to kind of where we're going today. And that is the mystery of being. And that's one of the challenges that we have in our life, because we're not sure what that means. What does that mean to be being? And Jesus put it this way: if you see me, you see my Father. If you see me, you see my Father. So he was in that moment being the truth of who he is, the truth of who you are. And humble enough to recognize it as not I, but the Father through me that does the work. So that's part of being. And metaphysically, we just change the words around a little bit, and it works on what Bridget was singing a little bit earlier, and that is we look at our world as mind, body, and spirit. Spirit, mind, and body. Soul. All together. Oneness. All together. Intelligence. All together. And just find a way to shift it and put it to work in our world. And the mystery of being is there's no mystery. You see, throughout history, leaders have tried to make what we do difficult. Because if I make it difficult, then you must come to me for the answers. Guess what? You are the answer. You are the answer. You don't need to come to someone to find the truth of who you are. The truth of who you are resides right here. You get to choose how to make that work in your world. Divine mind, the oneness. From that, my ideas, my thoughts, my feelings. I then couple with my word and my action, and I bring those into expression, and here we are. And if I don't like what I'm seeing in the here we are, I can change it by realigning my thoughts and feelings, my words, and my actions. It's really that simple. The more difficult part is to figure which one of the four seems to be out of alignment. Some of the things are really, really easy to spot. Some of them are a little more difficult. Okay? I would be peaceful in my world except for Joe. Because Joe's a and therefore so the world's great except for oops, I've got a little bit of a conflict on what is going on between thought and word, and so I'm not going to get the results that I want, am I? So I need to make the shift and make sure that my words and my actions and my feelings are in alignment. And then I'll get the expression that I desire. That's what Jesus taught us how to do. Pay attention to your world. Be aware of your world. Understand that you have within you the capability and the power to do anything. Somebody said to me the other day, give it a rest, Rob. You're 67. You're never going to be a brain surgeon. I said, I'm halfway there. I already mess with people's minds. But here's the thing. If I were to make that decision, there is a path, there is a process, yes? And regardless of age, if I take the process, if I move down that path, I can reach whatever goal that I set. I can reach whatever outcome I want in my life because it's based on my passions, my desires, and by knowing who my source is. Regardless of the appearance, I know who my source is. So when something comes in from the outside and gives me what I call the well, oh yeah speech, well, oh yeah, I just smile. Because I know who my source is. I know that part of being is coming from that place. I know it. I know it. I know it. And here comes the fun part. So do you, even if you don't know you know it. And this is what gets confusing sometimes, because we have our list. I hear what you're saying, Rob, and Jesus was a great example, but and then I have my list. Okay? May I humbly suggest that your list is a list of mistakes. Notice I did not say bad. I did not say wrong. I said a list of mistakes, a list of errors, sins, if you will. In other words, missed the mark. But that's all it is a list of how many times I shot and missed the mark. One of my favorite stories of all times comes from Babe Ruth, who struck out more than he ever hit home runs. Does anybody know that? No. They all say how many home runs he hit. Well, and the big one for me personally is he would never do a strikeout or hit a home run if he never came to bat. You got to get up and swing, right? I had a wonderful Friday. We had the opportunity to go play golf over in Shastina, and Dennis and I and some others went over. And I haven't played a championship course in a long, long time. And a championship course is one where they put the tee box over here, and about 1.5 miles down the road is a green. Just shoot, you'll get there eventually. From the Atlantic. It only felt that way because I'm not used to that course. We had a wonderful day, and I was just thinking about it in this context. Part of the reason we had a wonderful day is in order to live, you had to hit the ball. Now, it didn't matter how far the ball went. All I had to do was hit the ball. And each step, I hit the ball, and I moved down the road. And it's with you, too, the same way. Each an idea comes. You hit that idea, moves down the road. And sometimes you have to chase it. And sometimes you need to hunt in the weeds. And a ball retriever for the water is not a bad plan. Just saying. But see, if you plan ahead, you got it covered. But you're still moving in the same direction. You started from a given point in time and place, and you're moving through it. And you get to decide what it means. Every time you make a decision, every time you move through this activity, every time you watch what occurs next, you get to decide what that means. If it goes straight and right down the middle, you go, yay, I hit a great ball. God made the wind. Oops. Oh, I bring it home. Each shot, each time I move forward. And it's the same thing in anything you do. Each process that you're involved in. A challenge shows up in your life. Okay, what are you going to do? Let's get up at bat. I need to be aware of the thought. So I start with awareness. What's the awareness? There's something going on in my world that I'm not really happy about. Okay, that's the awareness. Then I'm going to get some insight to it. Number one, do I believe, and this is the challenge, do I believe that I have the ability and capability to solve the problem? A lot of you stop right there. And we give it the nope answer. Nope, can't do that. And it becomes self-fulfilling prophecy. But if you would be willing to make a shift and say, wait a minute, here comes an idea that I may not be able to see a way through yet, but I know the truth of who I am. I know who my source is. God is my source. I am a beloved child of God. Therefore, I have the capability to solve whatever this problem is. And I get up to bat. And I take action with my words. And I move forward. My words and my activities. And then I look. Just like the golf shot, I look. Oh, you're behind a tree. Okay. Whatever. Say, each step of the way is an opportunity to look again and again and again. And choose which way you will go at each step. One of the reasons I love to watch the PGA on the television when it's on, you're going to say this sounds kind of horrid, but it's the truth, is I like to watch the pros make mistakes. I figure if Tiger Woods can hit it in the pond, I'm doing pretty good. I know how to do that. Okay? Now I take that same thing and I look in my world. And if there's somebody out there that's doing really well from my perspective, I like to see what they're doing and I like to see what their mistakes are. And here's why. The people who are the most successful in life are people who make mistakes fast. Fast. You make a mistake, you look at it and you say, here's a new direction. And I take a new direction. And I don't make a mistake on the next one. Each and every step of the way. I fail, if you will. I make mistakes fast, and I get over it. And I take the next step. And the real secret is I leave the mistake behind me. I don't need to make the same mistake over and over and over again. But God loves you so much that if that's your choice, okie dokie. You get to choose each and every step of the way, right? But it goes back to centering, and it goes back to being. Who would you be in the moment? I got to tell you, I've shared stories with you before because it comes from my life when I have the opportunity to really choose who I'm going to be in the moment. If you are going to be order, if you're going to be peaceful, then your world is peaceful in that moment. But you have to be it. It's not just talking about, oh, today I'm peaceful, except for that guy. No, today I'm at peace. Today I choose to be peace in this moment. And you breathe and you look at your world, and guess what? It's peaceful. And in the next second you say, oh, that's too good to be true. And it's not. You stepped out of your belief system of being. Okay, so the goal is, the trick is, if you will, is to learn how to keep right in that path. Keep showing up right in that path. And when anything shows up in your world, you take it as an opportunity to say, how can I heal this for me today? What's going on in my world that I need to take a look at? And when you've asked for something and it shows up in your world, do you say thank you, or do you say, well, that isn't exactly what I had planned? Most of us are on the second page, aren't we? We ask for something, it shows up, and we go, well, that didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. Okay, well, who's in charge? Well, right? That's how we play. That's when you, by the way, that's when you hold your breath and turn blue. I'll show him. All right? No, there's other things at play in our world, isn't there? And they show up in our world. Okay, so now I need to be thankful. And when it doesn't quite work out exactly the way I felt it should, what do I get to do next? Change my thoughts. Change my thinking about what's going to show up. What do I really want? There was a great little bit this morning on the television about Mark Twain, who's one of my all-time favorite heroes in the world, only because political correctness did not exist for this man. And he just told it how he saw his world. You know? He just laid it out there. And he was not concerned about how others perceived it. It was important for him to be honest. Right? To be honest. And he was. And there were a lot of people that didn't like him. And that's okay too. Because he was being true to himself. And he put stuff out there and just said, here is Mark Twain, Samuel Clemens. This is who I am. This is the way I'm going to be today. And I feel free to change it for tomorrow if I wish. Anybody got a cigar? The smoking Nazis just went, okay? See, because there's this fear piece that goes in with other things. And we think we do the labeling piece, bad, good, and so forth. We live in that kind of a world where that duality exists. But the fun thing is that duality only exists rather in perception. It's not the truth of who we are. And the problem, part of the problem is our languaging. When we talk about the Trinity, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit in one particular religious group, we talk about mind, soul, and body. Mind, idea, expression, pick one. There's a lot of different ways to go. And we look at those aspects as if they are different. But they aren't. There's just the oneness. And so part of the goal is to recognize that's what's going on. Part of being, is recognizing that's the truth. And sometimes it's just a matter of languaging. And sometimes you can put it in the form of a question. Is God peace? Or just God is? See, because you try to define an aspect and you're only looking at one thing. And that's why it's so hard for us, because we just don't have the language. You know? God doesn't love. God is love. That's a tougher one. And we use the language, God loves me, which is true, by the way, but only in the sense that God is love and I am love, therefore I am in love with me, if you will. And it kind of gets confusing sometimes, and we're not sure how to act. And part of the problem is because it comes from us from so many different directions in our world that we buy into. And we're beginning to learn not to buy in. We're beginning to learn what the truth of us is. Right now in Disneyland on the Potomac, which gives you an idea of how I think about Congress. A huge cry about nothing. It's all about power and not about truth. And so what I'm looking at is when I see that is, okay, if that's going on there, what's going on in here that I need to work on for me? Well, if I'm worried about what is going on out here, I'm not focused on the truth of who I am. Regardless of what they do, who am I? No matter what vote is taken, I am a child of God. Of what is there to fear? Right? And I make that shift. And in a moment that I'm going to say, okay, it doesn't make any difference what they do. I'm going to live the truth of who I am in this moment. Right here, right now. See, that's where I live. Right here, right now. I heard something on Saturday that just kind of tickled me. Because we had the Platter Chatters annual get-together where the guys are allowed to go. And the comment was made, because it was raining a little bit, that, gee, 3 years ago, didn't we do this in the garage? Where we lined all the food up in the garage. And Rob went, what did I have for breakfast? What do you mean 3 years ago? I could, it just didn't register to me. I'm thinking, why is that it's important, I guess, and somebody remembered it, and ain't it great? But I'm thinking 3 years ago, it rained. Yay! 3 years ago, you had a challenge and you met it. Today, I have another challenge and I met it. Okay? What am I worried about? What am I afraid of? Who do I want to be? That comes back to that. I want to go back into being. I want to take the thoughts that come to me in mind. I want to be able to wrap the truth around them. My truth as I understand it, know it. I want to be open to the possibilities of that which I don't know that is still the truth of me that I haven't yet learned. I want to be open to, so when somebody says to me that you can walk on water, I don't go, yeah, well, oh yeah. I just start walking. I want to be able to be in a position where I send you into the field to heal the sick and raise the dead. And oh, by the way, only take one shirt. And say yes to that. Because that's the truth of who I am. I want to be able to look at my life and learn how to make transitions easily and effortlessly as opposed to with pain and suffering. Because pain and suffering is not a requirement. Jesus did not say, I came that you may have pain and suffering in every aspect of being. And oh, by the way, you need to be sick and diseased so that I can be the hero. No, he never said that. Right? These are things that go on in our world. What he said was, I came that you might have life. And I use that with a capital L. It's not written in the book that way, but with a capital L. Life meaning breathe. The breath of life. And you might have it more abundantly. In other words, all your needs are met. Everything that you need is here, right here for you right now. I just need to choose to be it. Today, I choose to be the truth of who I am, and I'm going to step out in that. And when I do that, the mystery goes away. Now, a lot of times we're trying to figure out how to make that happen because we've forgotten the base. We think we know it, but we've forgotten the base. The base begins from inside out, and the base begins from love. I am love. I love you. And when I make that statement, I'm talking to me. So I want you to hold a picture of you as you are in this moment. Not as you were before, not as you will be, but right here, right now. And in this moment, I love you. Together, I love you. Breathe. I love you. Together, I love you. Breathe. This is the truth of your being. I love you. Together, I love you. In that moment, as you speak the truth of who you are, you eliminate the mystery of being and just be. Namaste.
Thank you for listening. Please feel free to pass this message along to your friends and family. You can obtain additional audio tapes or CDs by visiting our website or by calling our office at 541-772-6902. We invite you to join us in prayer. We know that prayer works, and now you can send your prayer request to our prayer team here at Christ Unity Church by using the form on our website. The activities, programs, and services of this ministry are presented on a love offering basis. All gifts, regardless of size, are gratefully accepted. You may participate either by sending your gift to Christ Unity Church, 540 North Holly Street, Medford, Oregon, 97501, or by visiting us on the internet at www.unitymedford.org.